Since the film Alien 3, fans have been asking the question of how a Xenomorph egg got aboard the USS Sulaco, which led to the unfortunate events depicted in the opening sequence of the same film. Today I want to give a possible theory based on new evidence given to us through Alien the RPG as to how exactly the egg got aboard the Sulaco. Since Alien 3, the community has been ripe with possibilities as to how the Xenomorph Ovomorph was able to catch a ride along with the final survivors of the Hadley's Hope disaster. Theories range from blaming Bishop for secretly stowing away an egg, an action that was unseen to the rest of the audience, or that the Queen still possessed part of her reproductive tract, which was still in working order and was able to deposit an egg as an insurance policy before engaging in a possible final battle with its rebellious hosts. Well, today I have another theory, and one that pulls from two main sources, which I think explain the process of how this occurred very well. These two sources are Alien the RPG and William Gibson's Alien 3. Now before I get comments saying that William Gibson's Alien 3 is not canon, I know the story is definitely not canon. But through the RPG, a lot of the concepts within the pages have found their way into Alien canon. So, keep in mind, the story is not canon, but some of the concepts and processes within it are. So first let me explain what ovomorphing is for those that are unaware. It is the process in which a xenomorph is able to generate an ovomorph or an egg in the absence of a queen. The process usually occurs when a xenomorph is isolated from or is yet to become a part of a full hive structure, generally a drone cast. This xenomorph will begin collecting hosts. It will prefer to incapacitate them, usually crushing their skulls and then cocooning their bodies in its secreted saliva resins. The process is generally performed on a dead body. However, the process can occur to a living body, only that it will move at a much slower rate. The resin has double functionality, as it additionally acts to introduce a number of enzymes and growth hormones to the host corpse. This begins the ovomorphing metamorphosis. The drone then inserts the barb of its long tail into the body of the host. Its barb actually contains a packet of the very same aggressive genetic material found in the Manumula noxhydria, otherwise known as the FaceHugger. This powerful chemical agent, similar in many ways to the engineer's accelerant, enters the host's ovomorphing body through the xenomorph's barb and begins to grow the embryonic form of the M. noxhydria within this new forming outer shell. The process typically takes around 24 to 36 hours to be completed, and once it is, you have an ovomorph and a facehugger ready to implant a host with a xenomorph spawn. So with this knowledge we have to ask then, who was ovomorphed? Well, I strongly believe that it was Bishop. Bishop, you might ask. Yes, I believe that it was in fact Bishop who began the process of egg morphing. But for this to be true, we have to understand a few key facts. I know that the arguments that will come up first is that we have previously only seen the process of egg morphing occur to a deceased biological organism, or a living one, and never a synthetic. And while that is true, you have to understand what the egg morphing process requires, and that is simply raw materials. We know for a fact that the xenomorph species is nothing if not resourceful and practical. Xenomorphs themselves are able to consume inorganic materials to feed their metabolism, stuff like silicas and metals. Synthetics are actually constructed of materials that are actually known as organic compounds and much more similar to that of the compounds found in an actual living organism. An organic compound, at its base, is simply a compound that possesses the atomic element of carbon. And so when you get down to the nitty-gritty, a synthetic's inner soft artificial tissues and operating fluids can all likely serve as fuel for the growth of a xenomorph ovomorph. This ovomorph would likely take much longer to gestate, as it is forming in less than ideal circumstances and without a healthy supply of biological organic compounds when compared to the biological organisms that it usually hosts in. But nevertheless, it is possible. So with this reality, we now need to pinpoint the exact moment that Bishop was infected with the Manumula noxhydria. If only we had that exact moment occur on screen. So, now that we have the exact moment when the Xenomorph's barb was able to implant the M. noxhydria, we have to imagine how the next stage of the process would work. The main problem that faces our theory now is that Bishop was not at all cocooned, which seems vital for the process to occur. However, it is possible that because it was a fully matured Queen Xenomorph that barbed Bishop, that she had some kind of special variant of the M. noxhydria, which included the base materials to form an ovomorph around it. It might sound like I'm stretching the facts a little bit to fit the theory, however, you have to remember that this is a queen we are talking about. She already has the ability to churn out dozens of eggs anyway, so it's likely that her ovomorphing abilities would likely far exceed that of a simple drone's. Where the drone has to cocoon and then implant, the queen only requires a barb implantation to get the job done. And for those still not convinced, we actually have an instance of this occurring within the pages of the comic take on William Gibson's Alien 3 of the unproduced screenplay for that film. Granted, as I said at the beginning of the video, this story is not canon. However, processes like ovomorphing, and now the human xeno transformation known as a body burster, and places like Anchor Point Station in that story are all now canon thanks to Alien the RPG and its expansions, making them canon, through a series of stories such as Destroyer of Worlds. Either way, I think that this is our best bet as to how the Ovomorph was able to get aboard the Sulaco undetected and undenounced to the rest of the crew. Before I go, I wanted to let you know about the Acheron Colonial Marketplace, the one-stop shop for all Project Acheron merch. Here you can pick up shirts, hoodies, mugs, phone cases and more. So if you want to support the channel and look good doing it, pick up some Acheron merch. But what other videos would you like to see? If you have any ideas or have any questions, please leave them in the comments or contact me through Twitter or on the Project Acheron Discord. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and share this video. And if you want to really help see this channel thrive and grow, as well as gain a bunch of awesome rewards for yourself, consider becoming a patron, such as Christopher Dasinger and Ambrosia, leaders of the Project Acheron Hive. I hope to see you all here again very soon, but until then, this is Project Acheron signing off.